In this daily drop, we're going to talk about another book that I think might make sense to have in your library, especially if you're an aspiring director of photography or director. So let's go. Okay, here we are, episode 51, and we're going to start off the week here in the barn with another book recommendation. By the way, where is it? Oh, right here. Here's the Minolta CLE. 14 exposures so far for the black and white film challenge. There's been some questions about this, and I want to clarify. Shoot on any film stock you want and any film format that you want. It's really that it's black and white film and it's a single focal length that you're using for the challenge. The rest is pretty much up to you, except for getting it to me on time. So I'll put that link in the description again for the challenge. You have almost a month to do it. And now we're going to talk about this book, and I have some other cool practical stuff coming up this week as well. Here it is. I've had this for a long time. It's called Cinematography for Directors by Jacqueline B. Frost. I think it's a fantastic book. And I think it's a book that is worthwhile not only for the target audience, which are directors, so that they can learn more about the cinematographer's role. Because remember, in especially traditional narrative filmmaking, there's a triangle here, and we'll say that, is that a triangle? That looks like a triangle. The top of the triangle we'll just say is a director, and then there's two main departments, one headed up by the cinematographer, one headed up by the production designer. So we're talking about that cinematographer. And what this book does is it takes a director through essentially an education on what a cinematographer is doing, but more so that the director can communicate effectively with their director of photography or cinematographer. So I'm just going to read very quickly some of the chapters that are inside of this book. We have chapter 1. Let me take the glasses off. Creative collaborators, the director and the cinematographer. Chapter 2, the cinematographer and the script. Chapter 3, the aesthetics of lenses. Chapter 4, visual references. Chapter 5, the color palette of films. Chapter 6, lighting for genre. Chapter 7, the tools and aesthetics of movement. Chapter 8, various formats, in quotes, the canvas. And then Chapter 9, the lab, the DI, digital intermediate, and achieving the look. And then Chapter 10 is a history of creative collaborators. So it's covering a lot of subject matter. And one of the reasons that I really like this book is I think it's not only really valuable for an aspiring director or somebody who's already directing, but maybe isn't communicating with their DP, DOP, cinematographer as well as they could. But I also think it's a great reference for people who are aspiring cinematographers, because there's a lot of great base information inside of here. Now, everybody's going to use a reference book a different way. Some people will get this book and they'll read it cover to cover. Other people will use it like I do as a reference that I might go to one chapter or one section for, get inspiration or education from it. But for instance, here we have master cinematographers. So there's a breakdown in there. So there's a really good educational component to it. I bookmarked a couple of other sections here. This section here deals with color temperature and really understanding color temperature. And then what else do I have here? Understanding basically film stock. And what's great about this is, you know, all of those LUTs and those things that we're using now when we're shooting in log and in raw, they're all basically based on film stocks. So really good base information. And there was one other, the tools and aesthetics of movement. So this really has to really deals with camera movement. And then there's one other section, which is earlier in the book, which I know I have, here it is. The aesthetics of lenses. So this really gets into lenses and the breakdown of them, different focal lengths, applications. There's so much information inside of this book. I think it's valuable. It has been updated there are new versions of this. I've had this for many, many, many years. Was thinking about it today, and I thought it might be worthwhile to recommend it. There it is again. Cinematography for Directors. I will absolutely put a link to the book and the latest edition on the Amazons and anywhere else I can find it in the description. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.